Hi, and welcome to the 2020 Economic Recession and Preparation channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me once again. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe as we continue to bring you the latest in economic news in America and beyond. Today, I want to talk to you about the temporary layoffs or furloughs that the media has been talking about has now become permanent layoffs and furloughs for over 50 million Americans whose jobs have been affected by this sickness pandemic. Now we already know that hundreds of companies rather have already been cash strapped because they've been strapped for liquidity, not only in the airline, travel, tourism, retail sector, but also in white collar sectors. Companies like J.P. Morgan and Deutsche Bank have been in trouble in the repo market. The Federal Reserve Bank has been injecting millions and billions of dollars into the repo market since September of 2019, even before the crisis began in America. This is from usatoday.com. A lady says, what is she going to do? She's 55 years old and she's going to be laid off from her job as a Delta flight attendant employee. As you know, Delta plans to furlough 2,000 pilots despite buyouts. The New York Times is reporting, and this is going to take effect in October, next month. As they're going to be the second week of October, they're going to lay off 2,000 pilots, and they're also going to lay off furlough flight attendants as well. And this 55-year-old lady was telling us that she doesn't know what she's going to do, as she relies on that primarily for her major part of her income. And not only that, so we have blue collar workers laid off, we have white collar workers laid off, and professional jobs like pilots and financial advisors and accountants at these big firms like Deloitte and Touche accounting firms that are deciding to furlough or lay off workers permanently. And so is this what is going to be part of the recovery? Is this what a recovery in America looks like right now when we have 60 million unemployed? We have millions of Americans that have been furloughed from their job and have not received a paycheck or unemployment benefits. And we do not have a second stimulus that's on the way. And so there is no job creation. So somebody please explain to me, where is the good news? What's going to pull us out of this great depression that we have on our hands? And as we head toward the fall and winter months, people are wondering about the holiday season and the holiday sales and shopping. Well, holiday sales are not going to pick up. Things are not going to return to normal. As you go to any of these malls or outdoor outlet centers in your city or town, you can attest to the fact that a lot of these businesses are closed. A lot of the kiosks are empty. And there's more employees in these stores than there are people actually buying things. As a matter of fact, a lot of young ladies told me that at the store they just take an empty IKEA bag, or they just walk around with an empty bag to make it seem like that they bought something or purchased something. Or a lot of young men tell me that they just walk around with empty Snickers bag from these stores like Foot Locker or any of these stores to make it appear as if they bought a big thing, but they really only bought small things, small items like shoelaces or something that needed to be replaced instead of buying the actual product. So holiday sales are going to be absolutely dismal. Sales from November to January are only expected to be tepid, 1% or higher. So that means that Americans are not consuming as much because they don't have the money, the disposable income. Remember now, over 70% of the American economy is based on consumption. That's 2/3 of the American economy. If people are not consuming, that brings the American economy down to its knees. And so mall operator Simon Properties, they own a lot of malls, as you know, in America, along with Westfield malls. That's a big one in a lot of the cities. They say that its malls will not open on Thanksgiving this year. So, and as a matter of fact, a lot of malls are going to be closed for Black Friday. So how can sales be recovering? And a lot of the stores in these malls and outlet centers are actually closing because they can't meet the high rent. You know how much it costs to rent these buildings, to have a store in these type of facilities, whether it's a mall or outlet mall or anything like that. And Amazon is killing them anyway. But just based on that, the sales are going to be down. Home Depot reports that its sales are going to be down for the next 2 months amid the sickness pandemic. They're gonna have people not putting off home improvement projects and rather keeping the equity in their houses as a result of the pandemic. The lower the projected holiday growth this season is not surprising given the state of the economy, Daniel Bachman, Deloitte's senior economic advisor, said. But while high unemployment and economic anxiety will weigh on overall retail sales this holiday season, reduced spending on pandemic sensitive services such as restaurants and travel may help to keep holiday sales afloat. Well, I can tell you this much, that with this much layoffs coming in October and continued travel being hurt, a lot of cities rely on these type of business travel. A lot of these cities rely on football and sports money, revenue coming into these cities. And with that not being there, there is no recovery coming on. And so I tell you today that winter is coming, ladies and gentlemen. And if winter is coming, as they say in Game of Thrones or whatever show that you like to watch, you must be prepared. And the only way to get prepared is we have to cut back our spending, our individual spending on things that we do not need. Maybe that means cutting back on that latte, Starbucks latte. Maybe that means cutting back on the family vacation to maybe once a year, a staycation in your neighborhood or your town, because layoffs are coming. Matter of fact, Salesforce announced employees today that they're going to make 1,000 job cuts as their stock price goes through the roof. So we have these companies that are buying back their own stock, trying to stay afloat, because the Federal Reserve has said they're going to do whatever it takes to keep the stock market up, to keep the stock prices up, but not line your pockets, not keep your money in check, not to help regular American citizens. So as American citizens are trying to deal with losing first world country status, which is going to be coming up next year, and the collapse is coming up next year too, by the way, how are we going to experience this K-shaped recovery, quote unquote, that all the economists on the news are talking about, if it's only going to be for the top 1%? The K-shaped recovery is not for the 99%, as you know. And so that's why it's so important to be small, to leverage the money that you do have, the paper money that you do have, into real hard tangible assets: land, water, food, shelter, medicine, survival supplies. This is what we preach on this channel, and this is why it's so important, because you are seeing the results. As many people went to at the beginning of the pandemic, which is almost 8 months ago, many people found out as they went to their Costco, their Sam's, their Target, their Walmarts, that certain items were out of stock, or either supply shocks were there. Certain, not only just food items, certain supply items like toilet paper, like rice and beans, like everyday supply things, sanitizer, hand wipes. This is going to spread to other items of the economy. These supply shock shortages are just the beginning of what's coming. You do not want to be waiting in line with 500 to 1,000 other people for one case of bottled water when the city water supply may get contaminated or shut off due to this pandemic. You do not want to be waiting in a FEMA line or some kind of government assistance line with 20,000 other people for a portable tent for housing if you should lose your house due to some type of housing collapse. You do not want to be waiting in line with 20,000 other people for a portable generator, okay, or some type of electricity, solar powered thing from the government. We know how long that takes. The government hasn't even dealt with the wildfires in California. They can't pay for that. A lot of these insurance companies are going to be filing for bankruptcy in California, Oregon, and Washington State as a result of the fires. They cannot possibly rebuild the grid fast enough. Matter of fact, this hurricane season has been a record-breaking season. Imagine how much money is going to be spent trying to repair the power grid. Not only that, repair a lot of houses that got tore up as Hurricane Sally and Hannah, and all these storms have hit in Texas and Louisiana and other places along the Gulf Coast. That costs a lot of money, and it takes years to recover, years to repair. Just like this economy is going to take 10 to 12 years to recover from this depression that we're going to go right into this year and starting next year, definitely. Because the last two dominoes to fall with all of this is the housing collapse, which we're waiting for coming up in this first quarter 2021, and as well as the dollar collapse. That's the last two dominoes remaining that's going to take the United States from the first world country to a third world country, which is on its way. The transition is happening right now. So get prepared now. Stay prepared. Keep your cash at home. Start buying survival supplies, and make sure you subscribe to this channel for the latest news. Stay blessed, you and your family, and I will talk to you very soon.